And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore.
Sources telling us that David is now considered a suspect in the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas.
David took this mysterious trip to a very remote area of Santa Barbara County.
And had planned to just get rid of the body in Santa Barbara and then panic and drive back to LA with her body in the car.
David is probably crashing out right now because investigators have officially named him a suspect in Celeste Rivas' case. For months, people kept saying it was only a matter of time, and now police are finally confirming they believe that he played a role in what happened to her. And it gets worse because authorities just quietly confirmed that there is a second suspect too. On top of that, multiple sources say that the teen's body had been frozen before being cut into pieces, which means that whoever did this tried to slow down decomposition and cover their tracks. Then there's the timing. The new leaks circling back to spring, the same period where people think Celeste actually died, are painting a picture nobody wanted to see. Reports claim David allegedly drove out to a remote area in Santa Barbara County late at night and stayed there for hours. And that timeline lines up a little too perfectly with when she was believed to have gone missing. At the same time, sources say he still hasn't cooperated once, not a single real step, even though his team spent months pushing the he's helping the investigation storyline to soften the outrage and protect his image. This is the moment everyone has been watching for, and if the footage and leaks end up being even half true, things are about to get very serious for him. The moment investigators confirmed David is now a suspect, everything got real. Until now, police refused to say that he was directly tied to the crime. They kept their wording neutral, person of interest, multiple angles, all of that. But now they are straight up naming him as someone they are focusing on. People close to the investigation say officers believe that he had a direct role in Celeste's death and that someone else helped him handle the body afterward. And that instantly explains why certain people in his circle would probably be acting nervous, because investigators don't look at more than one person unless they already see connections forming behind the scenes.
The LAPD sources say investigators now consider David a suspect.
This is where the spring timeline becomes important. Reports say Celeste likely died in that period, and investigators have quietly been retracing everything he did in those months. One detail that keeps coming back up is the late night trip that he allegedly took to a remote part of Santa Barbara County, hours from home, completely off the grid, and falling in the exact window where people believe she disappeared for good. Everything lining up in that same time frame is unsettling.
LAPD has some tracking information where they claim that David took this mysterious trip to a very remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night in the spring of 2025. Now that is months before the body was discovered in Los Angeles.
But this is also where everything takes an even darker turn, because investigators just slipped out another detail that people were not expecting. There is a second suspect now, someone who might have actually been inside David's Tesla at the same time Celeste's body was in the back. And police aren't guessing here. Detectives pulled this person's phone and social media data, and it all pings to that same Hollywood Hills spot during the exact window where Celeste is believed to have died. And the condition of her body, yeah, that's the part nobody online can even process. Sources say the medical examiner got her remains in an absolutely horrific shape. Her body has been frozen, which means whoever was involved knew exactly what they were doing and wanted to slow everything down. The torso was still intact, but the limbs had been removed and cut into multiple pieces. All of it was partially frozen, already thawing inside the trunk of David's Tesla when the police finally opened it. And keep in mind, that car had been sitting in there for days, just parked on a random Hollywood Hills street near his rental house, untouched until it got towed. That's the only reason investigators even found her. It was so bad at first that they couldn't even tell if the body was male or female. There's also the issue of cooperation. While his team kept pushing the narrative that he was helping, investigators shut that down almost immediately. They say he hasn't provided anything, which makes the PR statements look more like deflection than the truth.
According to the same source, the 20-year-old singer is is reportedly not cooperating with this investigation, despite his PR team saying otherwise the entire time.
Now, here's where things get even more suspicious, because a Reddit post has been going viral and it's calling out exactly that. Someone wrote that David has been astroturfing and trying to sway public perception in his favor this whole time, practically begging investigators to arrest this man immediately. And the reality is, people aren't brushing it off as a joke. They're pointing to patterns. According to commenters, every time someone online has tried to bring up his connections, his influences, or the crowd he hangs around in Hollywood, their posts got hit with downvote brigades, weirdly aggressive replies, and accounts that looked like they popped up specifically to defend him. The post even said his hired guns were flooding threads to push his innocence and bury anything that made him look involved. And it's not just denial. It's the way some accounts try to redirect the whole conversation. One comment that blew up said, "Not just deniers, but take note of people who try to shift the convo towards Celeste's family when news drops." Now, I'm not saying her family can't be scrutinized, but it is sus as hell when someone posts something about David and comments try derailing the convo to her family. Because apparently, the second someone mentions David in a suspicious light, here come these random profiles dragging the family, nitpicking them, or blaming them for things that don't even make sense. Then there's the other comment that had people side-eyeing everything. Nah, the people who be saying Celeste wasn't backstage did it for me. That one hit a nerve, because remember when those photos leaked of a girl who looked exactly like Celeste backstage with Caleb, David's brother? The internet went wild, and then suddenly TMZ reported that sources confirmed it wasn't her. But now that investigators are openly naming David as a suspect, people are starting to question that story. Like, was that really a mistaken identity, or was it his team rushing to shut down anything that looked incriminating? Because when you put all of this together, the silence, the contradictions, the online damage control, it doesn't look like a team defending an innocent man. It looks like a team trying to desperately control the narrative before the truth comes out. The condition of Celeste's body showed one thing immediately. Whatever happened to her, one person couldn't have handled everything alone. The movement, the disposal, the state she was found in, it all points to more than one set of hands.
One source saying they're focusing in on certain individuals, and those individuals are concerned now that they know that the LAPD is focusing in on them.
But even with all of that, people online are saying the same thing. Even if David isn't officially found guilty of what happened to Celeste, the situation around their relationship alone is already disturbing. Because at the time that they were together, she wasn't even of legal age. Most people estimate she was 13 or 14 when she ran off and started living with him, and her 15th birthday literally passed while she was already gone. Meanwhile, he's 20.
Because even though she said she had a boyfriend named David, did you look up David's age? Did you get a rundown on who he was? Did you talk to your daughter, or you just let her just go out there with any man? Literally.
And yes, there were rumors about neglect in her home, which is why she kept running away, but that doesn't change the fact that a grown man got involved with a girl that young. People are calling it grooming, and others are calling it exploitation. Either way, it is not a good look on him, and it adds a whole new layer to why this whole situation feels wrong. And then there's the theory that Reddit will not let go of. One comment in particular blew up, and it said both she and David mentioned pregnancy in July 2024, and her last known sighting was at a nightclub with him a few days afterward. If the brothers estimate that she died in July to August 2025 was correct, she was out of the public eye for an entire year. Easily enough time to carry and deliver a child, it's possible David forced her into hiding so nobody would notice her bump. Now, when the autopsy report got deferred, the one thing that was confirmed early is that Celeste wasn't pregnant. That part was shut down fast, but even with that detail out, people are still questioning everything. People online have also shifted their focus to potential footage because investigators are expected to lean heavily on digital evidence. David owned a Tesla, and Teslas record everything. Motion, doors opening, people walking nearby, even small movements. The assumption now is that investigators will pull the internal camera logs, match the timestamps, and finally trace when Celeste's body was placed where it was found and who was present at that time. So now the convo online keeps circling back to the same thing. What was he doing during that weird gap before he left town? Why did the car keep bouncing around the neighborhood like it was being hidden? And why did everything in his life come to a screeching stop the second investigators started asking real questions. The only thing left to find out is what that Tesla footage actually reveals. And once it surfaces, everyone already knows his entire world might fall apart in one night.